Good afternoon, students. First off, I hope you're all doing well. These are certainly trying times, difficult ones, and especially for you, my non traditional students. I feel for you, all right? I'm going through many of the same things you are. My wife is also a teacher here at App State as well. Believe it or not, we're both in the marketing department, and we have two children that are not in school right now, so they're having a hiatus for 2 weeks. So I'm doing the same things you're going through, folks. So just to go over and clarify some things that I've already emailed you about, we are going to do whatever we can to get through the rest of this semester and fulfill the objectives that are outlined in this. And but having said that, we're going to do as much as we can to trim and streamline those things so that you can be confident in being able to finish this semester up with the knowledge that is necessary for you to go on, um, but not dealing with the difficulties of learning or trying to do beyond what is capable or possible. All right. So let's talk about a couple of things that we're going to do. First off, is that we are going to be doing strictly asynchronous kinds of lesson planning. What does that mean? Well, if you think of synchronous, meaning everything happening at the same time, it's not realistic for me to give you the lesson plans 1 week at a time like we're doing it in a regular semester. What I hope to do is do whatever I can to slam through and finish the remaining of these recordings by the end of the week so that hopefully you can take these recordings and binge watch them at your leisure. So let's kind of look once again about what the remaining syllabus looks like. So if you go into the website on As You Learn, you're going to see this thing that says new syllabus remaining class schedule. Now I'm going to go over it again. Of course, I sent you an email, but I want to just go ahead and make sure we see this one more time. So if you click on this, what you're going to get to is you're going to see this is the remaining course schedule. Now, if I want you to look at this, if you see this in this left-hand corner, you will see these three important dates: April 1st, April 15th, and April 18th. April 1st and April 18th will be two exams, and those two exams will be online. Now, the first exam is chapters 5, 6, and 12, and I will be recording chapter 12, and that will be from April 1st, and I'll give you 2 days to take the test and the same parameters as well. April 15th will be the deadline for you to turn in your evaluations and analysis of two cases out of the four cases that are listed online. These will not be group assignments. You will do these one at a time by yourself. This recognizes quite simply the fact that we're all living very difficult lives right now, and I don't expect you to be able to get together as a group. Does this mean that you have to do the evaluations like you would in a group? No. What this means is that I expect you, or hopefully wish you to be able to evaluate them in 3 pages, doing it as a single individual as opposed to doing the long winded, the full evaluation, which includes a SWOT analysis. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay. The test is supposedly April 18th, and I say supposedly because I'm trying to get a further clarification from the College of Business as to what is the absolute last day that I need to turn in your grades. And the reason that I'm also doing this is to give you as much flexibility as I possibly can as well. Once again, I'm recognizing that we're living in very difficult times, and I wish to be able to be as flexible with you as I can. Okay? Okay, cool. So, of course, for our individual in our class who is hearing impaired, I am going to do two recordings now, and I have been working with our office here, and they have done one. They've given me wonderful help, and so you will be able to see these recordings either as Panopto or I will put them on YouTube, and they will be automatically closed captioned. You will be able to choose either one if you wish. Okay, so going back, looking at the schedule, you'll see that I'm looking at chapter 12, addressing the competition and driving growth. Yes, you see those listed here, but these are the dates. If you see, I'm listing them as deadline dates. It doesn't mean I expect you to only do these things or do these chapters one at a time, week by week by week. You can binge watch them all in the space of 2 weeks. You can binge watch them in the space of 2 or 3 days in whatever way you wish. Okay. I'm going to be as flexible as I possibly can also when it comes to the exam times and the case turn in as well. Because quite simply, like I've said, I realize that you're going through as many difficulties as possible. The only dates that I'm really going to have to be firm on is 24 hours before I have to turn in grades. Because you can imagine what it would be like for me to have to do all of these tests at one time and grade them all. Believe me, I'm going to be binge grading as much as you're going to be binge watching. Okay? All right. We're going to get through this together. You're going to learn a few things. We're going to go on. You're going to get your MBA degrees. All of those things are going to happen, folks. We're going to get through this together. Okay? Sweet. So, with the remaining course schedule laid out, you're certainly asking yourself, how do I turn in the cases? Or what is the format? If you go to As You Learn, and if you notice, as I've said, that's where the remaining class schedule is. If you look here where it says format for individual case paper, this has all of the rules and the instructions for how to perform this case. The example shows you an actual example that a student turned in that I would like for you to use as kind of a template for you to be able to hand this in. So without further ado, let's kind of go over what the case is going to look like. Okay. So first off, let's talk about the format. I would like it to be 3 pages long, and it doesn't have to be any longer. However, if you have a rather lengthy, perhaps say bibliography, even if it's 1 or 2 pages long, or excuse me, only 1 or 2 journal articles, it can extend beyond 3 pages. Okay. This is to help you and to help me because realize how many of these pages I'm going to be grading and I want to give an honest grade. Okay. So the format, it will be 3 pages with 1 extra page for bibliography, no more. It'll be 12 point Times Roman font, double spaced. Please, double space. It makes it so much easier for me to read and to grade. You have no idea. Okay. And so, the purpose of the paper, you'll be presented with a case from the Harvard Business Review, and that will be you will choose from these lists of the cases listed here. And so the Swatch, Steel, Under Armour, and Apple. I want you to choose 2 of them. All right. I think these are all excellent cases. I think they're really fascinating. I wish I had time so that we could spend hours talking about them because they're so good to learn from. But having said that, I want you to choose 2 of those. Okay. You will present it from the case. The case will contain an in depth narrative on the situation. You'll have detailed financial and market information as well. It represents an actual marketing real life problem found in the real world. Using the data and the information given to you, you are defined the central issue of the case itself. All right. You will present the recommendations as a marketing manager and the strategist. Spit it out. With only 3 pages, though, you need to be succinct, exact, detailed. So, in other words, brevity is the soul of wit. So, make it as short as you possibly can. Believe me, folks, brevity works as a way of learning how to write better. When I was in my MBA classes, I was limited to 600 words or less when I would have one of these. When I did my PhD, my professor limited us to 300 words. It is amazing how much you think and think better when you're limited to the number of words you can use. And so think detailed, but think succinctly, okay? Now, some hints are avoid rewriting the facts about the case. You don't have to explain to me in detail what the case is about. Trust me, I know what the case is about. Um, you can speak to the details of the case in using it for justification for supporting your recommendations, but use them discreetly. In other words, as little as possible. Go to the central issue of the case, give it your recommendations, provide justification, and remember, folks, get right to the heart of the issue. Okay? Now, there's so much there. It means this is that each one of you could write a completely different case strategy than another, and I would still give you an A. It doesn't matter. All right. To me, once again, look, this is the MBA. This is the master's class, folks. To me, as a teacher, I want the wheels in your head to turn and to think about these things. Okay. So, having said that, with this being a synopsis, if you'll notice here, and you will find that in as you learn, you will also find a example of what I'm looking for. And I really am ambivalent about showing this because everybody wants to do this in the exact way. But given the way the issues are right now, I don't care if you use this as a template or not, okay? Because this is actually a very good one. This student really nails it. And so if you look at it, the first thing you'll see that there is you'll see that RRX is your name, the class, the name of the case, and then the date, whatever it is. Okay. So this case was about the Mattel Corporation. All right. And this individual goes straight to the point. The core issue for Mattel is that it seems to be battling to uphold its reputation as an reputable brand and organization. I will take into account wording, folks. I'm kind of a what's the word I want to use? I am a grammar Nazi. All right. I think that you, as MBA students, you're a you're a step above my undergraduates, and I expect you to proofread your work. And so I hope that you check these things. Okay. So if you noticed on the next point that I put here is that, as noted in the article, an executive stated MBA is committed to the skill level of its workers. All right. So if you notice here, they also list what they consider to be major questions to be asked or answered. All right. Why did it not conduct an investigation on their subsidiaries? Why did Mattel not have full access? What were the manufacturer's suppliers? I really like this because the first paragraph, the first six series of paragraphs is laying out the main issues right from the beginning. Now, the rest of this points to wording inside the case itself that is the justification for these recommendations. All right. So the article mentions that Mattel's code of ethics were designed to be preventative, not punitive, although the statement is vague. Carter Bryant had ethical, moral responsibility. The first thing that Mattel should do now, they also mix together what you would consider tactical implementations as well. And that is important as well too. So when you state the problem, give justification, and then go about implementing or what you should do in order to, in essence, correct those issues or to, what's the word I want? Act on those things. Okay. Sometimes, perhaps remember the swatch. Excuse me, not swatch, but the LG watch. Sometimes the answer may be don't do anything at all. It's important for you, however, to justify if that's your reasoning. Okay? All right. So, once again, I'm here being a word Nazi, checking spelling. Um, Here's an example of an excellent citation within the case that they use. As the article states, if certain assets, Mattel will try to work them, but they sure to make sure how they knew how far the rabbit hole goes and working with their suppliers. So if you notice, okay, um, they do much the same thing, okay? And as you see, of course, I'm doing my correcting, all right? And so these are my notes at the end so that you can understand, okay, that what I'm saying, okay? So now I do note, however, that I'm not really great on them kind of splitting up, but I'm okay with that, all right? Because what I want to see is excellent reasoning, good analogy, justification, and put all of that together. And one of the things that I do state on this is that they only use two and a half pages. Now I may not be, oh, I'm not going to be as judgmental on this, okay? Because I feel like it's going to be difficult for you. So I'm not going to be as judgmental as I can in terms of more information. This grade I would probably give, given your situations, this work is so excellent. I would give this now maybe a 93 or a 94. Okay. So this kind of gives you an idea of where my grade scale is in my head. Okay. All right. So I'm going to finish this recording, and you will find that recording listed. You'll find this recording listed in Panopto right up here, and you will also see it listed here. I'm still going to keep the weeks because it makes it easier for you to see, but you'll see this listed here as being uh, being part of excuse me. It'll be listed right here. Okay. All right, folks. This is the start. We're going to get through this. I am open 24 hours a day to your questions. I might be sleeping, so expect me maybe to get to you at 7 or 8 in the morning. Hey, I'm human, all right. But I will do whatever I can to help you get through this. If you want to do a live Zoom meeting or a Skype meeting, I am certainly available for that. And until then, good luck, folks. I'm here. I'm with you. We're going to get through this. Take care.